Good morning. Hi, welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm here with Lisa, talking about books that we read in school that I'm not sure why we did.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why we did that, why it was important.
Yeah. So there are a few family events that are going to be happening. And I've attended a few as like background, like way back in the day, background kind of observing. But I do know that these are great opportunities for families to bring their kids have fun, all that jam. So will you kind of go through the next few things?
Sure.
Okay.
As far as what we're doing for families in the next little bit, this past weekend, actually, we started our parenting class, and we are typically still open for enrollments.
Enrolls.
But it's a really great parenting class, and I actually got the chance to take it. Last time we did it, two times ago, I don't know. Tristan was little.
Okay.
But it was just, often people will tell you in parenting classes and in things that have to do with your kids, just speak to their heart, make sure you connect with them. And you're like, well, I don't know how to do that because I'm really not into Pokemon and I'm super not into Blippi. So
Blippi. Yeah.
Okay. I can't even go there. It is, if you're not familiar with it, it is a toddler YouTube guy.
Oh yes.
And
I've heard of Blippi.
He is, honestly, the content is fine. It's not anything I object to, but the level of professionalism makes me squirm. Like he'll make mistakes and then just kind of bypass them. And I'm like, you posted this to YouTube. Like you could have gone back and edited this.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit of a grammar person and he'll use terrible grammar and just fly.
No.
So
you're like, I can't do this.
I can't even. And he's a grown adult, like he's probably like 6'2", and he's wearing these stupid orange glasses and this beanie, and I can't. And he's using this. Oh wow, that was. I can't. Anyway.
But kids like him.
My son loves him.
Okay.
Adores it. Anyway, so neither here nor there. But often we try to connect with our kids, and we're not sure how to do that. And I don't know if part of that is our generation growing up with technology. We're not as good at relating with people anymore, in general. But what Susan does with the parenting class that is great is she really gives you handles. Okay, here's how you do this. When your child is doing this, have them come to you and sit down, and don't ask them how their day was, because that's such an open-ended question. Ask them, what was the best part of your day? What was your favorite thing you did today? Who did you sit with at lunch? And so she gives you these great tools. And one of the things that she's done, actually, that is we have been battling through this week in my house. My toddler is 3. He just turned 3 in June. And so he's hitting the stage where he knows that he can say no. And he's enacting that. He's been so easy for so long, just such a sweet person, a little people pleaser. And he just kind of does whatever I want, which has been fabulous, but it's spoiled me. And now he's saying, no, mommy, I don't want to do that. And he's, oh gosh, mommy, that's not nice. I don't want to stank you. And so I'm like, okay, maybe we need a different form of discipline than a spank. So, which we don't. Anyway, it's a whatever you do, you do. But
so it's a great tool for parents of any age of child.
The parenting class,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because one of the things that Susan talks about in there is, she says if it's working for you, I'm not going to take it away. But here's a suggestion. It's all about the heart. It's about your kid's heart. It's not necessarily about a power struggle. I mean, there are times that they need to absolutely know that you are the boss, but it's often more about their heart. And so if they're having trouble with their heart and they're in an angry place, then you need to send them to a place to take a break is one of the strategies. And you basically say, when you're ready and you're feeling nice again, come back out. And so it doesn't matter where it is. And it doesn't matter if they spend 2 minutes in there or if they spend 10 seconds in there or if they spend an hour.
Right.
It's about the heart change.
The solution is the actual change versus just time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so this past weekend, actually Saturday, I think it was an hour and 20 minutes with my little 3-year-old that we were going back and forth. Okay, you need to sit in your room. That wasn't a very nice voice that you just used with mommy. And, okay, that's still not very nice. Let's try going back to your room.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the strategies she's taught. And I have to tell you, we battled on Saturday. So an hour and a half. I mean, I was wiped. He was wiped. We were done.
Yeah.
But Sunday afternoon and this morning, he has been an angel. Like, immediate obedience. And see, I did a listener, mommy. I mean, just like, it's a different kid. And so there are strategies that you can pick up that are very practical, and they tell you exactly what to do, and you don't feel like you're yelling at your kids and you're beating your head against a wall.
Right.
Another thing that's great about it is that you get to actually network with other parents, because the parents, the way she's formatted the class is she'll present the content to you, and then she lets you break out and kind of talk to somebody else and go, okay, is this working for you? Have you tried it? Do you think it would work in your situation? And it's a great, like, me too moment where you're not the only one struggling with this. Me too.
Not the hashtag me
No,
too.
not the hashtag me too. It's a different kind of ball
Right,
game.
but like me as well.
Yes.
Me also.
Right. That's a problem in our household too.
Yeah. So are there usually a lot of parents in these classes so that you like...
It varies. It depends on when we're offering them. Certain times of the year seem to be a little more busy than others. The class that I was in, there were usually 15 to 20 of us in there. I think now there's maybe 6 or 8.
Okay.
But it's a great resource as far as really connecting and having these tools given to you.
So when the parenting class is going on, which is happening right now, last week was week 1, but you can still jump
Week
in.
1 is actually a great one to miss if you're going to miss one, because she shows a video of Andy and Sandra Stanley talking about their parenting style, and she kind of breaks it down into what she takes away from that, and because part of what they say is, in our household there are 3 rules. These are our 3 rules. And she goes, you don't have to use our 3 rules, but come up with your own. Make sure these are the things that are non-negotiables in your house.
Okay.
And so it's just a great vision casting week to talk with whoever you're raising your kids with.
Okay.
But that's an easy one to miss because you can access it yourself later.
Okay. So it happens on Sundays
at 9:00.
Okay. And then in the cafeteria?
It will be in the outdoor cafeteria. The big portable is, I think, where we've settled.
Okay. But they can probably find Susan beforehand.
They can find Susan. They can find one of us at check-in, at Children's Check-in. We'll be able to tell them where it is and help them find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going on. And I've only heard good things. There's so many different people who have been through it, even people with kids that are like middle school age that are going through it. So it's...
This session, I think, is actually a lot of repeat people because honestly, if you go through it a year ago, 2 years ago, if you went through it again now, you would hear different things because your kids are in a different place.
True.
You know, your kids have grown and now you're having issues that you weren't having before. And so you're hearing it differently.
I mean, human beings, we're all changing and growing every day.
We are.
So
truly.
it's good to kind of hone in on that stuff. I like that. I like that there's different things that you can kind of pick up every time you take it.
Oh, yeah. Well, because you're honed in. If I'm listening to it with Tristan in my brain, who's 2, and you're talking about technology with your middle schooler, like I'm going to kind of tone out a little bit. But if I take it again a couple of years later.
Right. Then it all makes sense. So speaking of technology, there is something else, another event that's happening?
There is this Thursday night. We are doing a Parents in the Know event, and we've called this one Kids in Technology. We've invited the Sarasota County Schools Chief of Police, Tim Enos, to come in, and he has a presentation that he's done on this, actually for nationwide conferences. But he's very knowledgeable as far as the tech world and what the kids are into, and can present what the dangers are for the parents, not in a fear-mongering kind of way, but here's the reality. Here's what you need to be watching for with your kids.
Right.
Here's how we recommend you proceed. I have not seen this particular talk, but we invited him here a few months ago, and his demeanor with the parents is great. He's very conversational. He'll joke a lot with you, and he's very much like information is your best friend. Be informed so you know how to keep your kids safe. So we're excited to bring him in here.
That's why it's called Parents in the Know. You gotta know.
We do. We really want to be a support for parents and try to give them things, because when you are parenting, you are in the midst of just, okay, lunches, after school activities, I need to bedtime. Okay, should they have that much TV? I don't know, but I'm exhausted, so maybe I'm going to let them. You don't have time to always do the research on things, and it's just one more thing added to your never-ending to-do list. And so one of the things we're hoping to do is to make it easy, so they don't have to do the research, and we can bring in somebody. We're even watching the kids. If they're between the ages of 3 and 12, we'll watch them.
Okay.
So it's Thursday night here on our campus between 6:30 and 8.
Okay.
It starts at 6:30 and goes to 8.
Nice. So Parents in the Know. And then there is a camp out.
There is a camp out. We are November 8th is the date on that. And it's just a super fun event. It's really chill. We usually will provide all the ingredients for s'mores. So we'll bring the graham crackers and the chocolate bars and the marshmallows. Sometimes we do little glow sticks for the kids and let them kind of play. But we have a beautiful area over by our park with the porch swings in the gazebo kind of format. octagon. I don't know if it's an octagon or a hexagon.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but there's porch swings around the fire, and then we typically have done a smaller fire off to the side, which works. But people bring chairs and they bring blankets, and you just hang out.
So is it overnight?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's I believe we did 6:30 to 8:30 maybe.
Okay.
It's on the Facebook. So you can look for the Facebook event and or flyers as they come.
Nice.
But it'll start, and it's really just very chill. There's no structure to it except that we're giving you a space to come and play for free with your family.
And make some s'mores.
Mm-hmm.
I heard rumor. I don't know if this rumor is true. Are Reese's in the mix?
We do not provide Reese's. We encourage you to bring your own.
Reese's are encouraged.
Once upon a time, we did an overnight camp out here on the property a couple times a year. And one of the groups that came out, it was a couple, they would always bring like such fun things to cook on the fire. So they would do like bananas with peanut butter and marshmallows in a little hobo packet and throw it in there. And so good. Todd and Andrea. And then they brought, I think, peanut butter cups. That was the first time I had peanut butter cups on my s'mores. So we encourage you to bring hot dogs and whatever you want to cook. I think Brian Homan one time brought bacon wrapped hot dogs to cook on the fire. And it was phenomenal. And we were all like, oh.
Come every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So November 8th. Is that a Friday?
It is a Friday. It's a Friday night. And it will be after time change. So it'll be super dark at 6:30.
Oh, really? Oh, it's my favorite time of year. Anytime, like even now, and no, it's not cold. I know that, everyone. But I feel like I can tell that the cold is on its way.
It's coming. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's like my car in the mornings tells me it's 70 or 71. And I'm like, yes, it's fall.
I know.
That's our really sad Florida reality.
I know. But I mean, you go into places like TJ Maxx / Home Goods, my home away from home, and there's just fall stuff everywhere, and you're like, this is so fun. I love it. And I'm not a like skipper of any events. I'm like, I like to celebrate Halloween, and I go through Thanksgiving before I start whipping out the Christmas stuff. But you better believe as soon as Thanksgiving is over, I'm thankful and I'm grateful, but Christmas is my jam.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too.
You're a holiday lover?
I am.
What about you, Chris?
Holidays are okay.
We found the Scrooge.
And it's not that I dislike them. It's the setting up all the decorations and putting them back down. It just gets like, just why?
Do what Ryan and I
I'll do
did.
4. I'll do seasonal decorations.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Like have your things and pick them.
Yeah.
But if you don't like taking down your decorations, here's what we did. This was my idea. Ryan said, please no. In fact, multiple times he tried to go up onto the roof to take off the lights. And I was like, no, and like took the ladder away. So I forced us to keep up our lights all year round. And now look, we don't even have to put up lights.
Now, are you plugging them in all year round?
Okay, so this is what's fun.
Oh, no. There's a story.
They're not colorful. They're little, just white lights. And they perfectly line the roof to where it looks like a gingerbread house during Christmas. But if it's not Christmas, it just looks like a beautiful little fairy house. Like it's just nicely lit up. So sometimes if we have people coming over at night, I will plug it in, or just to joke with Ryan, I plug it in and I'm like, we got our lights.
Looking like a fairy house, is that in the eye of the beholder? Like, does Ryan think it looks like Christmas lights all year long?
You're going to have to ask him.
That's a yes.
He was like, look, it's too late in the year now to take them down. So like he has kind of just ignored that they're there, but he had a rough time being like, look, Rita, they're Christmas lights. I'm like, no, they're year round lights. Go to St. Augustine. Like there's so many little like restaurants and stuff that are lit up. And I think it looks like a little fairyland. I love it. I love like glowing little lights at night. It's so cute.
I am actually team lights myself. Tristan has, in his bedroom, we have the blue Christmas lights that are strung around his ceiling. And that's sometimes his little nightlight. We leave the Christmas lights on because they're blue. They're soft enough that they're not intense for him to sleep. And so I am I'm a fan of that. Yes. I did it in college too. Because there again, your roommates are sleeping. You can see what you're doing with little Christmas lights on without bothering them.
Yeah. I mean, they're called Christmas lights, but I'll call them Christmas spirit lights. If you want to feel the Christmas spirit all year round, you can plug in your lights.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that basically, are those all the like family or parent kind of things that are happening?
In the near future, yes. We've got a Christmas event coming. There's a Facebook event up for that. If you follow Suncoast Kids on Facebook, you would see. We always do our Christmas event. It's usually the first Saturday in December.
Okay. So that'll be down there. So you just check out the Facebook page if you really want to know. So are you okay enough to talk about when we passed you under the bridge?
Yes. So Saturday night, we're leaving church. And I had my husband with me, which is kind of rare these days because he's working 80 hours a week and I never know when he's going to be available.
Okay.
Because often if he's not working, he needs to be sleeping for the next time he has to go to work.
Right.
So we stopped and we had just left church and Tristan says, I have to tinkle. And we're potty training. So he's usually pretty solid on the tinkle part. And he's a boy. So that makes it a lot easier
tinkle
to
anywhere.
Swing on the side of the road and go, okay,
yeah,
you have to go around the interstate. Okay, let me pull over. So if he was a girl, I don't know what we would do because we live in Northport. So that's a bit of a hike.
Right.
In the car every day. So he tells us as we're waiting at the light at Clark and the interstate to get on past to go left on to head south. And so, if you've waited at that light, there are times that it's a very long light. And so he's telling us that he has to do tinkle and we're like in the left lane. And so I can't swing over and just open the door. Right. So, eventually the light does turn green and we pull over and we get him. We're actually stopped almost underneath the underpass to let him go to the bathroom on the grass right there. But because we had to wait so long, his pants were wet.
No.
And so, because he knew he had to go, and he's very good at telling us, but we had to wait too long. We missed it. So now we're trying to change his clothes, and he's walking around the back seat in his wet clothes, sitting on Travis's like clean shirt. No. I'm like, no, get up! You can tingle on that. And so,
are you still saying tinkle this entire time?
Yes, because that's what we say. I just think it's more polite than pee or
Yeah.
We use the anatomical terms for his body, but then at least I know tinkle is Yeah. So we finally get him out. He finishes going, but then Ryan, in the meantime, once we're done and he's redressed and we've put him in now, and I just put him in underwear. I didn't even put him in shorts. So we get him back in the car. I see that Rita has called me. And so I'm texting her. I'm going, oh, is everything okay? And she goes, we just were going to see if we could help you. And I was like,
we thought like your car broke down or something. Cause it was just like the whole family's like outside, but like huddled on the other side. So we couldn't see. So we passed her. I was like, that's Lisa. I was like, we need to turn back around. And that light, the next light, the one to turn on the highway, I think that's even worse than the other light.
I go straight and I UE at the gas station often because it's terrible.
Don't tell people your secret. Now everyone's going to be UEing.
Certain times of the day it's not faster depending on the traffic flow.
Yeah.
But when we get off of church, it's faster because there's not much traffic.
I always count the cars that are in line to turn. And I'm like, if I pass you, at least I know that I like did a good thing. But
I always beat whoever's first if I go up in UE.
Nice.
I would say 9 times out of 10.
But everything was good.
Once we got his, we changed his clothes and we just put new underwear on because we're going home. You don't have to put shorts on again. So then we get in the car and we start moving and he goes, I'm hungry. And I'm like, ugh. And we don't have anything at home. And by the time we get home, it's going to be like 8:30 and I don't want to cook something for you to eat.
Right.
And he probably is legitimately hungry because we missed the coffee bar. And so we didn't get our sandwich. And so I'm like, ugh. And I'm thinking he's going to fall asleep on the way home. So I'm thinking it's going to benefit me for you to have something in your belly.
Right.
So then we're opting to go to Subway and I've got to put clothes on him again. So it was fine. It just
one of those.
It really is just a parenting thing. It's just one of those stories. That really was not, that was what I was telling Rita via text. That is nothing compared to the way my week has gone because we've battled all week. But, yeah.
But eventually, and this is what I hear, I don't know this, but they say eventually everything like levels out because finally if the child is hungry, and that's the thing. So we watched Late in London and they had just eaten Chick-fil-A and they were like done. And like barely 15 minutes go by and we're like, okay, we're going to put on a movie and watch it. And they're like, I'm hungry. I'm like, how? You guys just ate so much food. And then we like got them snacks and they literally ate all of the snacks. And I'm like, how do kids just get hungry so fast? And I feel like whenever they say I'm hungry, it's always the most inconvenient time. It's like either right after food is done and you've like either put stuff away
cleaned up.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is. And they do go through periods where, which I'm sure you've heard, when they're growing, they eat so much. And you legitimately are like, you just ate, and they continue to put down. And it's like things like green beans, so it's not like they're just wanting a snack. Like they're legitimately hungry enough to eat green beans. You're like, okay. So when they're growing, they do go through that. But somebody yesterday told me, I think it was Nicole, one of my children's directors, because I was telling her about we've gone through this rough patch. It's very new for me because like I said, he's always been very sweet and very chill and very obedient. And so she goes, somebody was telling me that kids develop in such a way that like they outpace the other development. So, you know, maybe their physical skills develop super, super fast, but their emotional skills are not there to deal with it. And then their emotions hyper develop, but their words maybe are not enough to
Keep
process
with,
through
right.
what they're. And so she goes, so you go through a really rough patch, and then 6 months later, you go through 6 months of you're good, and then we do something else.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely true. You do develop it completely differently and in phases. So it's so helpful to hear just, I mean, even if it's things you know, just people saying little things like that, like, oh, I hadn't thought about it this way.
Right.
Not related to my kid.
Right. Yeah, it's true. So do you feel like the parenting class kind of has that type of stuff as well, where it's like this tool? Because we did the parenting class podcast basically, but I'm sure sitting with other parents saying, I've tried this and it didn't work, or I tried this and it really worked, and then I put a little tweak on it and did this and this and this. So do you feel like other parents being vocal about how they deal with the different things that they're dealing with is helpful? But there's also this fear of judgment. So it's almost like a lot of parents don't feel like they should or can talk about the struggles, but then it's like, but you need to.
I think, at least specifically for our parenting class, Susan does a really good job of being very candid about her failures with her children. She tells you a lot of her successes, but she's also very candid about the times that she failed.
Yeah.
And so when your leader sets that tone, there's a lot less fear about you talking about your failures.
Ooh, yeah. Go Susan. That's good.
Yeah. And even when I led a small group, I tried to be very conscious of being intimate, because you do set your whole tone. And if you're willing to be open, then you're kind of marking this is a safe place.
Right.
We're going to be open about, we're going to be who we are. And so much more growth happens when you're authentic and you're not trying to put on a show that you're the best parent.
It's true. So do you think that Tristan is going to be musical?
She's asking me this question because the answer is obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep drumsticks in the car, and we have about 6 sets of chopsticks between the house and the car and Grandma's house, because we drum in the car, and his little car seat has 2 cup holders, and I am not allowed to put cups in them because one is his cymbal and one is his drum.
Yeah. You got to keep those open.
And even this morning, I had to put in, I used a pants hanger that I had tucked in the back of the seat because he needed a kick drum.
So he like knows the instrument.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's the video Suncoast has for Origin for Rhythm and Rubble. Ryan is using something that I had no idea what it was at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And
what does it look like?
He told me I talked to him later and he says it's a Nord pad, I think is what he called it.
Like a little drum pad.
Yes. It's like a little square. Well, in my house, Tristan has a little drum set that somebody gave him for his birthday, but we have to bring the cooler over when we watch that
We
because
need the Nord.
He needs to have his little pad. Because Ryan Parter has one, Mommy.
Oh my goodness.
And so there's that. There's we have microphones. The drumsticks are also microphones. We sing.
Nice.
And we have guitars and we have pianos. And Mommy, I don't have a real piano. Can you buy me a real piano? Like, he's going to be so musical.
Yeah.
He's so into it.
He is so adorable. So Kay, your mom, was kind of watching him, I think it was last weekend. And it was just the 2 of them in the auditorium, and he was like drumming in all the chairs, and he has some good rhythm. Like he really, especially for being 3, like seriously. And he was like just drumming on all the stuff. And then she was like, yeah, he listens to the old Suncoast music. And she was like, I think he like knows who was singing and stuff. And she was like, Tristan, who was singing on some of your favorite songs? So it's like Search My Heart.
Search
and like,
My Heart, Take Heart.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All those old ones. And he was like, Ryan Buckham. And I was like, oh. I've never heard like a child say his name, and it was the cutest thing ever. And then she kept asking like, so are you going to play guitar? Which when she said Uncle James and Uncle Lee, I was like, that is so weird for me to hear Uncle. But she was like, are you going to play with them? And he's like, yeah. And he was just going around playing and just being so cute. And you could just tell he like loves everything up there, and was like pointing at all the drums. Like, look at that. It was just so cute.
He does. Actually, Marina Gordon, who is one of our youth here, she plays the drums for the youth band.
Ooh,
and
nice.
She babysits for us sometimes. She lives close to us in Northport, so it's a nice little connection. We went to pick her up, and she has an electronic drum set. that someone gave them.
Yeah.
And so he like walked in and his eyes got huge. And Lenora, her mother, was kind enough to say, do you want to play for a few minutes? And so, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Marina showed him kind of all the things and he loved it.
Yeah.
Every time we go now, tonight don't play her drum set, Mommy. So, I mean, I think he's leaning toward drums. I was really praying for guitar.
Yeah. The quieter one.
Yeah. Well, just even the more melodic.
Yeah.
Like the melody where I can get into it and get behind that guitar or piano. I think we're going toward drums.
Yeah. The thing with drums is like before I ever was involved in music whatsoever, I just never understood drumming and like how there's specific, like there is music. Like I didn't realize that they write like sheet music for drums. Yeah. And how like Ryan Parker especially, you can just see him, he'll like listen to a song one time and just like understand what they're trying to do with the rhythm and then just be able to play it and like kind of go off and do his own thing. So it's like understanding the part of the song that is the heartbeat. It's like understanding what are we trying to convey with how people are going to move when they listen to it. So it's like the guitar parts like that to me, sometimes I can't even pick out what the guitar part is until like I listen on Planning Center and stuff, like I solo it out. I'm like, oh, that's what they're playing. So sometimes it's like very counterintuitive because the guitar parts are just like adding something like another frequency. But the drums to me, like the more I learn and the more I see, like I know that's why he's drawn to it, because if you are the one that's like in charge of kind of getting people on the same page and like feeling the rhythm and feeling the beat, that is really, really fun. But also probably terrifying if you're like learning drums and you get off a little bit like, oh.
Yeah, I would imagine if you're leading everybody else.
Right.
But yeah, no, oh gosh. And plus toddlers like to bang on things anyway. They like to make a lot of noise.
Right.
But even I've transitioned him to the Pitch Perfect soundtrack because it's making me crazy to listen to. Because I found an old Suncoast CD, so it's Awaken My Heart. I think it's actually just called Awaken. But that is his jam, and I am going to put forks in my eyes. I have to keep hearing it every day. So we do the Since You've Been Gone from the Pitch Perfect soundtrack, which is a cappella, but they start with like all the little pieces of the a cappella and they build it. And so there's it starts zoom, 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 and then it gets into the drum, which is boom, sh, boom, boom, sh. And he like will do the drum part with his mouth.
That is so cute.
No, Mommy, I'm drumming. Okay. All right. I don't get to sing that part.
So you're like, I want to do this part.
Because I sing. That's what I do. I don't do it on stage anywhere, but I sing. And so he, I just kind of mindlessly go. And he's like, no, I'm the girl on this one, Mommy. Because it's a girl and a guy on the soundtrack. So, okay. All right.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
So are you guys into musicals?
I am.
Okay.
And Tristan he's just a boy. He doesn't have the patience to sit and watch anything.
Yeah.
He can get about halfway through Frozen and he'll do Moana mostly. But I think it's the music. It has to be good music.
Right.
For him to get into it.
Moana has some great music in there.
It does. He likes that a lot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other like I did not realize the Descendants movies. Have you heard of those? Okay, so sometimes you can watch kid movies and like they really do translate to adults and you're like, this is actually really cute. Like I liked it. Yeah. Oh, I made a mistake. I tried watching and it was like, they all come out in like really crazy costumes and like 1 and 2 and 3. I'm like, this is for children. So I immediately turned it off. But it sounds like they have songs.
Yes.
Like
that's
Disney
a thing.
movies and stuff.
That's a thing. Yeah. Which Disney's not an idiot. That's exactly how you sell. If people can't get your songs out of your head, then
like Frozen. I think in order to write a hit, this is something that I saw and I never like looked up to make sure this was true, but I think the people who wrote Frozen and like the music and stuff, I think that they're either a couple or siblings or something. I think they both had the same last name. Yeah. Can you imagine being the people, and they were not like super recognizable names. Imagine being the people who wrote Frozen. And like you're the people who wrote Let It Go. And like every child in a certain age group at a certain time they know that song.
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
It is. It's crazy. I can't imagine.
Just writing a hit song for kids.
And I don't think you ever really know. There's no kind of formula. I mean, I think
they do. I think Disney has like a recipe, like a secret recipe and like a vault. And they're like, listen, we'll show it to you, but you're under contract and you can't leave this castle until you finished writing.
Ever.
Yeah. Don't take off your corset until.
I know. Oh, man, it's crazy. So lots of fun events.
We do have some things in the comments.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. So Sherry wanted you to talk about the new family room.
Oh, yes. I'm super excited about this. I really am.
Okay.
So here's kind of the backstory on why we decided we wanted to do this. In years past, we've had the sermon that will be able to be played in the coffee bar. And for whatever reason, we quit doing that. And we felt like we just wanted the coffee bar to be more of a coffee bar. And we also didn't want people to miss being in there. I think there's a different element to be in there.
Right.
And so we found that if you try to take your baby to the nursery and they won't stay for whatever reason, then you've got to have your baby. You've tried to put them in class and it's loud. And so you can't take them in there because they're loud, and you can't hear the sermon if you don't take them in there. So we've come up with the solution of what we are calling the family room. And it's a place where we have a gigantic TV. It's 50 something inches that is live streaming the sermon and some chairs and some toys for your kids. And so it's a safe place for you to come and to let the kids be kids and to watch the sermon.
Right.
So we're super excited about that. We kind of had a soft launch this weekend where we had it, but we hadn't super promoted it. We kind of wanted to feel it out, see how it was going, kind of fine tooth comb everything. And it seemed to go really well. We had a couple people utilize it.
Nice.
So we're really happy and excited about that because it just opens up a different world of opportunity so that you can still hear the sermon, but not have to be stressed out that your kid's distracting other people or being loud. And for me, my kid would be distracting me anyway.
Right.
If I had to try to keep whack-a-moling him, stop it, sit,
exactly.
don't.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the possibilities. I think this will kind of give parents a little more ease and allow their kids to be kids so they can still see what's happening.
And now there's a place to go, not just stand somewhere close to a speaker where you can hear
and
it.
it's enclosed. So if you have a toddler who is not going to sit still, they can walk around and
And the other end for that is not only is it distracting for everybody in the room, I'm sure the parents probably feel this weird sense of responsibility for the noise, but then also they want to come to church. They got dressed up and they're here.
Right. And they made it out the door with their toddler or with their baby.
Yeah, some of these people are dressed up, and I'm you've earned the right to be here. So,
well, it's the parents' only time out.
True.
Let's go out with the kids. Okay, go dressed up.
True. And then you go, and then you have to leave, and then sometimes you can hear it on the recording. And so for us, what I love also is that it's because it's being live streamed. There is still, just like with Coffee Talk, there's a little bit of a delay. So if you have to make your way out and go to the family room, which is near the kids area.
It's really close to the nursery. It's a couple doors down from the nursery.
Okay. So just make your way down to that wing and they'll guide you. But because there's a little bit of a delay, you probably won't miss.
No, that's really, I think, what did Ryan say? It's a 20-second delay.
I think 45 seconds 45?
For Coffee it's about 45,
yeah. So
and
good.
I think for the stream
that gives you time to get out there and really not miss much.
Right.
So, and like I said, it's just a lot of, for me personally, it's a lot of pressure taken off the parent. True. Because you do feel ugh. So we're excited to offer it.
Yeah. So how are you guys going to go about doing that? Because I know before we had that option, there were a few times where you kind of had to go in personally. And I was like, oh, I wonder what it feels like to go in and be like, hi, can you please take your child out?
Oh, see, I don't like to go and talk to parents unless I have a solution to offer them. And so there's been times when I can be like, it didn't work for your child in this room, but we can try it. We're at a situation right now where our numbers are low enough that we can try it. Why don't we try it in this room?
Right.
Why don't we try, if your child is used to being in the 2s, why don't we try checking them in the nursery, see if that helps a little bit. We don't typically like to boost them up just because what they're doing in the 2-year-old classroom is kind of meant for the 2-year-old development. And if we bump somebody up too soon, they can get frustrated because they can't do what everybody else can do.
But you're a solutions-based person.
Yeah, because I feel like coming into somebody and saying, take your kid out, it can come across very judgmental no matter how nice I say it.
Right.
And that's not what I want, particularly because I've so recently been there where my kid is little. And as a parent, you feel judged on everything your kid does. So even if your kid is an amazing kid and he's having a bad day, it feels terrible to you because you know that these people are seeing your kid at his worst and you feel like they're judging your kid and thereby you.
Yeah.
And so even academically, if you can have all kinds of PhDs and know that this is developmentally normal and whatnot, but it's heart-wrenching when you feel like your kid's not making good choices. It's a reflection on you. So.
Right. So this is the solution for, you get to go be with the people that are also experiencing the same thing. The too energetic for church, because when I was a kid, like I did not want to go sit in church.
No.
Like I don't remember being a baby, but I cannot imagine that it is fun at all for a kid who's like, oh, here's a piece of paper. How much fun would it be if I threw it and then chased after it? Like, yes, go do that. Yeah. Now we have a space for you.
Yeah, it's and you would be with other parents who are used to kind of tuning that out all the time anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the tolerance level is higher for that kind of thing. It's not as distracting if you're already a parent and you're used to it.
Right.
You know?
True. So. Well, we have a staff meeting that we got to go to.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here on Coffee Talk, Lisa.
Thanks
this
for
was
having
great.
me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.